can't hear you, Willie.
I can hear you. Can
Oh
you
well,
hear
we
me?
can hear you now. I don't know if there
There
was
we
some type of delay or
might
something.
might have been a delay. We three kings to the building. King, we got Miss K in the building once again, joining us today on this special topic once again. Also, King, I know we got to make a little bit of announcement about some
Mhm.
changes that we got going on with our podcast. If you don't mind elaborating a little bit on that.
We three kings. We are splitting the channels in half. We want to be able to please both crowds. We have We Three Kings Sports, but we also have the We Three Kings podcast. So we're going to separate the two. Just to not cause confusion. We don't want to pull people in for the podcast and then have people in for the sports. So to make it better for everybody else, we'll just be putting content on both channels and try to create, I guess you want to say something like a triangle of things. To where we can have multiple outlets and multiple sources to get different type of topics and different things done.
Correct. So yeah, make sure you guys follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We get definitely keep you guys up to date on these new updates. Right now, we're actually streaming on both channels. Just get things going. If you guys want to stick with the sports side, you can stay with this with your regular channel, but also we got our new channel as well. You could go into both. It's the best of both worlds, and we're just trying to make sure we operate on both sides to get you a variety. I would say.
Yeah, most
Exactly.
definitely, man.
So on today's topic, dating with children. Okay, we got Miss K. She's gonna jump back in once she gets her situation together. But this one is interesting because it's something that we, of course, me King and Big A. Shout out to Big A. He'll be joining us shortly. He had to bathe himself, so he should be
So
he
it,
should be
it takes a lot for Silverback to bathe themselves.
right. He got to bathe in the jungles. You got to get that waterfall on his back. But anyway, dating with children. There's been it's a hot button topic just because how it was presented. Now there was a little bit of a quote that said that women's value goes down when they have children.
Yeah, and specifically pertaining to the dating scene, man, a lot of dudes they just don't even want to, particularly date a woman that has children because, obviously, red flags come to mind sometimes. And some guys does she have some crazy baby daddies? Oh, there's Kay. Let me get her in.
Well, she's flipping around, so we'll get her in a minute. But yeah,
Yeah,
that and the thing I think was like a misconception is that when they say the woman's value, and I believe they need to extend that information when it says the value of value of woman, and it's really particularly to the, like you said, the dating scene. To the dating scene, to the dating world. Yeah, the value of a woman who has children as well as men. We're gonna jump into that as well. It does go down in the dating world, and I'm a believer in that. Even it may not sound good, but it's the truth. It's definitely a truth to it, but there's some variables behind it. So that's why we're going to jump into this topic of discussion to see what you guys think. If you guys want to jump in with us and give your opinion or ask us a questions, that the link is in the bio. You definitely like for you guys to come in on it. So Kay, now that you're back with us again, the
Hey,
value
what's going on, y'all?
dating a woman with the children. Like, do you think their value goes down? Does it stay the same? Is it up? What is your opinion?
Well, I don't think their value goes down. I think, it pretty much stays the same. But I think for, in my opinion, off a mass scale of women that has children, they shouldn't have high expectations, I would say, for a man. If they're, pursuing a man, only because they already is coming into a situation with children. But I don't think they, value goes down. No, I don't think so.
So when we speak on value, and by the way, me and Kay separated everybody. Y'all see, I moved on to better living back here. Piano in the background. No, but seriously, on when we speak on the value of a woman being less because of her having children, and this is on the dating scene. This is not as far as a relationship, because obviously you have to date first before you get there. So
Right.
this is on the dating scene. And as I was saying before you came in, a lot of guys, they don't even want to deal with it. They don't want to even go on a date with a woman that has kids because, hey, baby daddy might be crazy. I'm not about to be dealing with this dude. You get out of jail, might try to kill me. There's stuff like that. All those thoughts started to come to mind. It literally has to be a decision for a man to want to partake or take on, that extra load or baggage or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, there's men out here with children. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Let's keep it on both sides, because there's a lot of men out here that got a lot of baby mamas, crazy baby mamas. Baby mamas attached, very violent, doing things. So it can go either way. It can definitely go either way. But when it comes to dating, I'm not going to say particularly the value of a woman goes down. What I'm going to say is the caution rises. I'll say that. I prefer to say the caution rises, because it could be really a really real situation where, that guy may not want to let go. And, it can get dangerous. It can get real dangerous. So you have to be willing, and it's a decision that you have to make if you want to get into that.
Correct. So, with that situation, it is a lot of variables to dating with children.
Yeah.
And that's when you speak of the woman's value going down, it's specifically in regards to the dating scene. Because I'll put it like this. When you're dating, when you're going out to date someone, there's, they could be the same, even kill, a woman and then a woman with children. In most cases, naturally, you're going to go to the path of least resistance. And the woman with the child, as valuable as she could be herself, the situation makes it a little more difficult, because there's a lot of, like you said, there's obstacles that you have to put into effect. One thing about it, or one thing that I would say is why they're devalued, is time. Okay. Time is the most valuable asset when it comes to dating. You have to be available. And in most cases, with the woman with the child, she's not available as much as a person without a child. There's a lot of scheduling. There's a lot of things that has to be put in place in order for that woman with child to be available for her. So that's one strike against them. Another strike when it comes to value, when I'm speaking specifically on value, when they said value to other men, the other men part is what people have to realize, because the most value that woman has is with the person she had the child with. Now, we know there's situations where it doesn't work out, foreseeable. We did not can speak on that too much, but that man who planted his seed into that woman has that child with that woman. That's who gets the most value out of that woman, as opposed to a guy that didn't have a child with that woman. He's coming in, behind the 8 ball, I would say, because there's a lot of things that woman is not going to allow, or will allow, that you have to work out, that you wouldn't be able to do with the person who had the child with you. So the most value, and that's something that us as men, we have to make sure that we are accountable for, is that understanding that if we are going to impregnate these women, understand that their value, their most valuable asset with them having your child is that woman. And that's where they're most valuable with. They're not going to be more valuable to anybody else. And that guy could be great. He could be the best, person for her, could be the best stepdad. But when we're talking about value initially, ideally, it goes with the person that you initially had the child with, because technically, as much as good as that guy may be, that original father still has more value, because he has the rights more than, the step person. So, and that's a big sacrifice for that person to come in knowing that, listen, I don't have the value of the original father. even though I'm acting maybe even more, maybe even better in tune, maybe even better qualified. But the value itself is always going to lie with that person because that's how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's not how it. That's just not how it always goes
Right.
because women can lay down and have a kid with a man, and a man can lay down with a woman and have a kid, but it doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, it does not. Just because you lay down with someone doesn't make them a father. It doesn't make that person a woman. So yeah, they planted, the man planted their seed into that woman, but that, okay, he planted his seed. I mean, we know it's women out here just popping babies out, left and right. So I can't say that that man that woman laid down with has the most value. I can't say that.
I would say this. Obviously, we all have the personal experience with this type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's pros and cons. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. Obviously, you will say, hey, King, what made you want to take on a task like that? Well, here's a perspective from my experience. When you look at a single mother out here, first and foremost, as I advise to everyone who listens, you want to be friends with this person first. You learn a lot about situations. You learn who this person is. You can learn a lot just being friends with this person. Me and my wife, we were friends first. So I had an opportunity to listen to her, to see her situation, to be on the outside and observe what type of dude that this is that she's dealing with, the things he's doing. So it gave me an advantage, and it helped me out a lot when it comes to deciding, because the way that I thought about it is, hey, this woman, we met her at our job. This woman, she's in here busting her tail to make sure that she can take care of her child by herself, while he's doing nothing about it. And, just her drive alone, the way that she carried herself, the things that we discussed, the things that she wanted to do in the future, the things, basically her goals, everything. I tied all of that together, and I said, you know what? If, I'm at my bottom right now, she's at her bottom right now, we get together and build something. If we build a solid foundation off of that, we'll be powerful, man. And that's what ended up happening 17 years ago. So it may not happen like that for some people. Hold on, let me mute him. Yeah, it may not happen like that for some other people, but
you also got to recognize this too, King. Like you said before, some people may not even try to get
involved.
Involved, and which is fine. That's that's not a knock on the person who doesn't want to get involved with the person that already has
every right to feel that way.
Has family already set, because a lot of people, not men and women, they want to start their own legacy.
Yeah.
We know what the traditional ways of doing it, but we've always kind of veered away from it because we make our own decisions. We go about doing the things a little bit differently. Traditionally, it's man, woman, traditionally supposed to to get married, then the children come. But a lot of times nowadays, the children come first.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it causes a different type of an effect that that's not normal. Let's not we trying to normalize the abnormal of this relationship thing. Doesn't mean, like you said, it doesn't work. It could work, like say, work in your situation, actually worked in my situation, because I was in the same boat when I met my wife. She was with child. For me, reason why I was able to look past that was because of my upbringing. And I said it last week. That's how my household was built.
Yeah,
and that's how my family were built, with my uncles and relatives. That's how it was built. So for me, when knowing that she came with child, it didn't have that effect on me. I didn't really see it as a problem, because I see, okay, this could work. I've seen it work. I grew up in it. I understand it. But speaking for myself, the reason why I was able to go forward, but I still had the choice whether or not I was going to take that route. Yeah. But it's going to be a lot of guys out there that say, listen, I'd rather not. And they don't want to put up with you know, the BS. And some guys, they feel even if the guy that's in the mother's life, the father, if he's a great father, still they probably even want to deal with him because too much masculine energy in one place. A guy does. Some guys will say, "Listen, I don't want to deal with it because I'm not about to answer to another man about his child," which rightfully so. He have the right to do so. So it's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of sacrificing that goes with that makes it difficult in some ways. It can be rewarding too, but it makes it difficult. But to sum it all up, it does make it to where the value of that woman that's with children, it makes it a little different. Not to saying that she's not a good person or she's not valued within herself, but I always say it's the surroundings and the situation
on a dating scene
that can make it, a little different than what somebody that doesn't have a child would. And I don't know, I would say for Kay, I just want to ask her, like, from a woman's point of view, like knowing that you're going into a situation where you're about to want to date a guy with the child or with children, what are y'all thoughts? Whatever, how do you all feel? Because I know a lot of ladies that they are willing to go into these types of relationship with men that have children, and we know that because we see that a lot. Even though sometimes they may not go in not knowing, because sometimes these men don't elaborate on how many, if they have any children out here. But
Papa was a Rolling Stone, right?
Exactly. And so I just want to get it from a woman's point of view. But before I get into UK, because Big A, he finally jumped in, give us your point of view, Big
So the issue I have with this topic is because the only time this topic come up is when it's to say a woman loses her value, as if there ain't tons of men out here that also have children. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, because a woman has a child, we want to say, and I'm not saying y'all, I'm just saying this whole subject of why it's out here of saying a woman loses her value. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I get it. My thing is, if you feel like you're not strong enough to go into that situation, well, you need to be a man with yourself. And that's technically fine, but to deem a woman in the dating scene, as we like to say, oh, she loses her value, to me, that's totally BS. It's totally BS.
Well, it's not totally directed to just women. We talking both sides right now, and like it's just being with child, period.
Right. And I want to say totally being. Now you got to Big A, separate feelings from facts.
I ain't got no feelings
because you feel that is BS, but the fact of the matter is, we just elaborated on several different scenarios that makes it to where just specifically diminishing the value based off of circumstances, not the woman itself, but the circumstances and the things that surrounds it. It diminishes that value as opposed to somebody who doesn't have those obstacles of being with child.
But the whole thing of it is, it's not the woman herself. Yes, she has a child, but the whole thing is on the other person. Well, I might not want to deal with the baby daddy. It might be a difficult situation. It goes back to that other person, not the person with the child. So how does that person lose value?
Because
somebody don't want to deal with it?
We're speaking specifically from the dating scene. If you're in a room with two women and one has a child and the other one doesn't, let's just be honest about it. Most men is going to go for the woman that doesn't have the child, because you don't even have to question if she has the baggage or if she's broken or if I have to help try to restore what this man is.
But it's women.
Nah, man.
But then
there's women out here who don't have children and they deal with broken issues.
But they would rather, we're talking from a dating standpoint once again.
I get what you're talking about.
So why would you, if for instance, if you don't want to take on those issues, why would you pick the woman that has a child already? If you're going to deal with those type of issues, you probably have a better chance dealing with the one without the child.
And that's all it is. And that's really what it is. It's not saying that women without children don't have issues and things like that. But we're just speaking from a stat point of view. Like you said, you're going to go with the lesser of the two for the most part initially. Now, like you said, some of us we may go in knowing that hell, there's a lot of value with a mother with children, because for one, they're stable. A lot of them they're stable. They're home You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're home ready.
But
They
listen,
have
but
responsibility.
Willie,
That's
we
from
found
knowing.
that out on the other side though.
Exactly.
See, when we're talking about at the very beginning,
there you go.
how dudes
there you
think.
go.
You see
And
what I'm
that's
saying?
and we gotta understand, like Big A, you gotta understand, we're not, like I said, we're going from a large perspective of how men on a mass scale think, not just like.
But
like
we gotta also remember, men on the large scale don't think right way 9 times out of 10 anyway.
Exactly, and
So,
then that's why we're saying why the value is different.
But hold on, but like even in the same breath of what you were saying, King, when you seen Kay, you like you said, she out there busting her butt, handling her business, and that was you meeting her at work and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I said, we was friends, so I had an opportunity to sit back and see what the situation was first. Now, if he turned out to be a crazy dude coming up to the job, wanting to start stuff, maybe I would have went a different direction. You see what I'm saying? Because I end up in jail for doing something to this dude when I really shouldn't have to, deal with that in the first place. I had no type of attachment. I had no child. I had none of that in the beginning. I could have easily went the other direction. But me and her being friends in the first place gave me an opportunity to observe, to see who she was, to see how she thought, to see what type of dude this person was, to learn something about the child. You see what I'm saying? So it made it a lot easier.
And like you said, you took the time.
Yeah, I took time.
And that's what.
Ultimately, it was my decision.
Right.
That's what we got to get to.
There you go.
Decision.
There you go.
But that's what we're getting at with this whole thing. A lot of the things that comes with dating a mother with children is that you have to put time in. Time is of value. That's what we're explaining about the values of dating with children, dating without children, because you're going to have to put in more time to understand her situation than you would with someone who doesn't have that situation. And that's
what I'm saying though is,
but that goes both ways. That goes both ways.
Trust me, we finna jump over to the men.
We're gonna jump on the men too, but I'm just saying from this point of view.
But what I'm saying is to the ultimate decision, like you said, King, it was your decision. So if your decision is to date this woman with a child, that's your decision. And if you don't decide the child, don't devalue her, saying her value is a lot less. No.
Listen, you taking it
too personal. You're going
right. That's what I'm saying. It's not what me, Willie, or anyone else. We talking about the overall dating scene out there.
But if we're, like I said, you're going too personal into the situation to say, you can't say that we're just saying if we're just to do numbers, just look at it from a numbers point of view.
Right.
If we're doing numbers, not feelings, not how you feel, or you shouldn't feel this type of way, just strictly numbers. If you just go by the numbers, based off of the topic that we're talking about, there's going to be less for those who go on to the side of women with children than the ones that without.
Hold on. Let's take it from the 3 men that's on this call. Those numbers don't add up to that.
But we're the minority.
Yeah, we're 3 people out of 1 billion people in this.
I'm saying where we can talk facts and the numbers. We know the numbers. I'm saying that's what I'm talking about from that.
I'm saying, Big A, we get that, but like I said, we have to start from the beginning first. Like getting into the gist of it, to get to the information, like what King was, how he explained the situation and how I explained my situation. We know that it can work. But at first, initially, we have to put out those points of
now, there's
why.
Another part to it, Willie. It's a part that we forgetting about here.
What's that, King?
Me and you, we had an experience of seeing that can work in our households.
Right.
A lot of these people are coming from households where they didn't see that type of example. You see what I'm saying? So it's also another factor to what helped us probably make that decision. You got a lot of households, regular, ordinary households where all the kids had one mother, one father. They're not used to being exposed to this type of thing.
That's all of us, though. That's all of us, and I'm literally the one that was a stepchild.
But like you said, we have to factor that all in, and that's what the conversation that we're having about it is that initially we got to get to the initial point first. We got to make the point of it first. Then we can go into elaborating more as to why and why not. And that's where we're at right now. So when we say that statement, we may not feel that that's a good statement, but we got to separate feelings from facts. And in certain cases, just to have the conversation and do the critical thinking of it, because if we go by what we feel, then we're not going to be able to reach a lot of the people, because people may feel different. So if we're going to add up what they feel and what we feel, and we're going on the mass scale, like you said, King, it's going to have a different number than what we believe.
I mean, it's that's just obvious, that's common sense right there, But the thing is, from you, Kay, let's hear from your perspective. If a man is coming into a relationship with children, what type of perception are you going to have as a woman? Or do you want to even deal with that situation? Are you worried about the baby mamas? What are the type of thoughts that goes through a woman's mind when she finds out a man has children?
Well, if a woman is looking to settle down, the first thing, if the roles was reversed, the first thing I'm going to be looking for is, how is this man with his children? That's going to determine it all for me. If you are not taking care of your responsibility, if you're not taking care of your children, I don't want no parts, because you're going to do the same to me. You're going to have me out here looking stupid. I mean, that's just what it is. You're going to have me out here looking stupid.
Let me ask this question, Kay. And this is where where everything starts. As women, man with children, what would you prefer?
Be honest.
You can't go into like, I'm saying initially. We're talking initially. Like, you met these guys, they don't want to even kill, but this one got a child, and this one
already know.
As women,
women think a little bit different in this situation. They automatically think about that other woman. Like, I got to deal with this broad.
So, like, as for women, do what y'all, like you said, like we said, and it's perfect. Like I said, it's an honest perception. There's not nothing wrong with it, but I just want to know from a woman's point of view, like, which would you gravitate towards? You taking too long to answer, man. I think
you're giving us the answer by taking too long.
But that's the thing, is this case, it's okay.
It's nothing okay. wrong with that at all. That's the thing. I don't want people to.
The only reason why
nothing wrong.
Wait a minute. Let me speak. The only reason why I probably would gravitate to a man that doesn't have any kids, it's all about the situation. Like, it's all about the situation. However, what if I got with this man and I didn't know anything about his kids, because he wanted to get to know me and he wanted to wait to tell me that he had children? What if I've already invested my time in, and then now I find out that he has kids?
Well,
what about that?
We gonna jump to that in a second, but we're gonna keep it right now at the point of dating.
Yeah, right.
When it comes to the very beginning of dating, listen, we all know women. Not to categorize y'all right now, but y'all automatically thinking about that other chick.
Well, you gotta say dudes too, because that was the first thing y'all said.
But see, Big A,
how many dudes? Listen, how many dudes is out here sleeping around with women that got another dude, bro? It's not the same.
We talking about being in a relationship, man. That was the first.
No, we said dating. We said dating, Big A.
It's men out here dating women with kids. Because listen, you have to look at it statistically. Of course, especially us as a people. Of course, there's going to be a lot more women out here with the kids because the dad is not in the household. You see what I'm saying? Right. So it's going on a more larger scale. It's going to be men. It's going to be men dating women with children. That's why I say that. So when we know that this man has another woman attached to him through a child, as a woman, okay,
it depends on the situation, though. It really depends.
Before the situation, Kay. We're talking about before the situation.
You get in a relationship with this man. We're talking about dating. Y'all learning each other.
Initially, off the top, like I said, before you get into knowing the situation, we're talking about when you see these two guys, let's put it like this, you see two guys, and you're like, damn, both of them guys are pretty well off. This guy has a child. Your initial reaction mostly is like, well, you know, he already got a situation. I know it may be good, may not be good. It's too many unanswerable questions right now that with this other guy I don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
So
Can I ask a question,
does this women operate like that?
It is women that operate like that. It is women that's automatically going to be thinking, okay, I wonder what his relationship is with that other woman. Why are they not together? Like, how long have they been broken up? Yeah, there is women like that. But if we talking about first, we're dating and we're getting to know each other, you should be able to find out what type of man, what their situation is from the beginning. You should already be able to, find that out.
Now, you have to look at it because, like I always say, you can't compare the two in this situation simply because of one thing: the way we come in thinking about it. Woman see a guy that has children, she's going to think automatically what you just said. What did he do to the point to where she don't want to be with him?
No, I said what happened while they're not together.
That's what I'm saying right now.
What happened?
Like what happened?
No,
what
she
happened?
was basically saying,
can I finish? Let me finish. You'll have your chance to talk. Let me finish. Now, she's going to say, what happened? Why is she not with him? They have a child together. So obviously, something must be wrong with this dude. What did he do? Did he cheat on her?
No.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Let me finish.
Okay.
This is the perception of a lot of women in this situation. Listen, this man got a child with this woman. They ain't together. What happened? Something must have happened. Something bad must have happened to why they not together. Now, or when you go, can I finish my statement? Jesus Christ.
He's out there rambling on.
Like, goodness.
Go ahead, King.
Now, when you look at it from a man perspective, we come in with a different process because we say, okay, she not with the baby daddy.
Good.
Automatically, we think, now look. Automatically, we thinking, well, he must not be shit. You know what I'm saying? He must be one of them dudes that just left his kids. You know what I'm saying? We're not coming in saying what was wrong with him. Or not what was wrong with her.
Good.
Automatically, we thinking,
I hope he out the picture.
Yeah.
I hope he gone some damn way, so I ain't got to be dealing with it. Let me go ahead.
Must have, got her pregnant.
But when I interject, I got to be quiet because I ain't agreeing.
So no, he just making comments. You trying to give a whole point. Let me finish my point.
He was on Chick-fil-A sauce.
Okay. All right. You go ahead and give your emotional point, Big A.
Y'all got it, bro.
But why do we have that mind frame? Why are we thinking that something bad happened? Right. Why can't it be maybe they just did not work out?
Maybe
they wanted something different.
You gotta look at what's going on out here in the world.
But see, Kay, and that's the main reason. What we're talking about now is why dating with children is less valuable than with someone who is single, because you got all these different type of perspectives, man and woman, that you got to think about once you find out this person has a child. And that's what we're meaning by statistically why the value is down, because you got so many different unknown elements as opposed to someone who is single. They're not saying that the single person doesn't have elements themselves, but you also got to deal with the person elements and the surrounding elements when the person has child. And this is why when I see that statement, I can see that being a true statement. Doesn't mean that it's the right way to go about it. It's not mean that you have to live off of that, but it's an ugly truth that we have to accept when it comes to when you having a child out of wedlock or out of separation or however the situation come about. Because even like, okay, I would say for you didn't go into a relationship to have a child with someone and not to be with that person that you had the child with. Your initial,
absolutely not.
Everyone's initial thing with having a child is to have the child and be with the person. And most of the time, be with the person that they created the child.
Right, I was about to say most of the time, because that.
But statistically, we are speaking from a large scale and a factual statement here. statistically, when it comes to our people, the men are just not in the house. They're not taking care of their family on a large scale. We do have men that take care of their family, obviously, just looking on the screen. But on a large scale, there are a lot of men that leave the household.
And that's not cool. We're not saying that that's cool. We don't want to.
Oh, I have no respect for men.
Yeah.
They're going to look for other women that ain't got children, so they can make children.
But these are all,
and that's what they do. You exactly right. You exactly right.
Factors.
And those women open them legs to those dudes without even knowing enough about them, and they allowed those weak-kneed dudes to put that baby in them.
Right. So we're gonna open this up. So anybody that's in the chat that want to join us, I did send the link in the chat. So if you want to jump in, give your perspective, definitely you can come in and give us your input or even ask us some questions. But let's go back to the beginning, the topic. Like I said, we just sat here for good 20 minutes and just elaborated on different scenarios, different obstacles, different ways of going about it. Initially, like I always say, I got to go back to the initial. You're going to go down the path of least resistance, and that generally is going to go with the person that's not with child. Now, I can get into details of why there's benefits, and I believe, and I would say this: I believe for a single man, that's like what Kay said. When Kay said a woman will get with a man that's taking care of the business with a child when they're ready to settle down. For a man who's ready to settle and have a family, I will argue the fact that it may be better for them to have a woman with a child than one without, because the woman with child is already in practice on being family orientated and grounded because she has a responsibility. She's going to be initially working because she got to take care of the child. She's not going to be out there all in the streets any other type of night because she got to take care of a child. She's going to be already having things together in the home because she has a child. I got to
put my horns on, Willie.
So it's women out here.
I'm not arguing against that, but I'm just saying.
I got to play devil's advocate. What about all those women that just had these kids like to sit on aid, man? They don't want to be responsible. They don't take care of those children. They, like I said, refrigerator empty. They spending that money on nails and hair. We all know how this goes.
Yeah, I agree. But see, that's what goes back to what Big A was saying and what Kay was saying, what we all say. That's where the get to know process comes in at.
Right. Friends
before. You should be getting to know that person.
That's what they get to. Instead of going in like a lot of men do, going in there, they don't care about all that's going on. They be going there just trying to smash and dash.
I was just about to say that.
Making that situation.
And you just found that out, you wasn't there for the right reasons in the first place anyway, because all of that stuff is going to come out when you dating somebody, spending time with somebody.
Yeah, right. That's why like I said, that's why I keep stressing this, how important it is to be friends with a person first, because being friends with a person is actually the courting process where you starting to learn something about this person, their personality, the things they like, they don't like, what they do. That's where you want to learn that stuff. You don't want to learn have all these skeletons jumping out of you on you once you're in a relationship with this person, especially after you attach to them and have a child.
I was just about to say that people go in and have kids with somebody and then be like, oh no, I can't do this. Like, man, you done saw all this stuff while you were dealing with this person.
Well, I had to respond to Joshua Austin. If you're dating someone with child, it's not a perfect world.
No, he was saying everything that you was.
But that's what I'm saying. What I was saying wasn't coming from a perfect world perspective. I was just saying, if you're going to get involved with someone like that, just understand that they're going to have some value to them because of what they're going through with the child, especially for a man that's looking. Like I'm saying, I was being specific for a man that's looking to settle down. The pros and cons, if you're dealing with a woman with a child, there's a lot of pros with dealing with the woman with the child. That for a man that's ready for a family, that's ready to settle down, this woman is coming equipped with.
And see, here go. See, with Harold, he's the other side that we're talking about. You see what I'm saying? And it's nothing wrong with him thinking that way.
Whatever floats your boat.
Whatever floats your boat, brother. You know what I'm saying? You know, we decided to do it, obviously, because I said there are pros to it. You know what I'm saying? The values that she had, the core values that she had, it helped build a solid foundation. And like I said, 17 years later, I'm still a Mac, you know, and we do what we do. Yeah.
and when I was speaking on that, that was coming from, like I said, my experience,
Personal
just like y'all, because me going into the situation, I knew that you can't go into, not all, because we know there's some scandalous ladies out here, but going into knowing this person, like you said, dating and courting, because like you have to get past the part that them having a child to even know what the other side is going to be. Once you get that mindset, okay, we're past the point. I know that you have a child. Let me go to the next step. Let me move on to the next step. And courting and learning and seeing their decision making and things of that nature, that makes me say, like, okay, I can still go forth with doing this. And then seeing like what the woman with child translates into the home, I also can see that how me inputting myself, because with the man dealing with the woman and child, you have to, and more or less, input yourself into the life of that woman, you know, and know that there's going to be obstacles that's coming in with that, but there's also going to be some, like you said, some pros with it too. So it's all a part of the dating, the courting, the learning, the friendship, all of that. That's the other side. But you know, we're talking about the initial side of it.
Yeah. And see, listen, we gotta, you know, with this podcast, of course, we like to argue and debate, but we got to keep some pressure. And I'm not gonna let the pressure up until I get a solid answer. And of course, her camera goes off.
She done blacked out on us. So if we got any of the ladies that's listening in, you know, you guys can jump in and give us a little intel. You know, I want to see, like you said, because King, I think you're feeling the same way I'm feeling. I'm trying to see if they're gonna really jump out there.
Yeah, I want to hear what these ladies think about the situation as far as from a man with children. You know what I'm saying? We have these topics all the time because
and not try to be nice with it.
Yeah, I want
to try to be politically correct.
What do you think?
What's the rawness of it? That's what I want to see. I want to hear the rawness of it. When you see that guy, they be like, oh, he got a kid.
The guy at the park playing with his little child. You know what I'm saying? And he living your complex or on your block, and you know this dude, he's a single father, and you like him and he cute. I want to know what you think, Kay, of a dude that has a child. Does it change the value?
It doesn't.
Why doesn't it change the value?
Because as a woman, you don't know that situation. You don't know if that man, he may have lost his spouse. You don't know if the mother walked out on him. It could be all different scenarios.
So Kay, you're saying that, and this is what I'm hearing, that women are more into getting into involvements with single dads than men are, because what you're saying is a lot of women is more willing.
We talking from a large perspective.
We talk from large perspective that women are more. Not. Let's say you're single. You're not a single mom. You're just a single individual.
Okay.
Take yourself out of it, like, because you want to say, because if it was me and I had a child, let's just say you're a single person.
Nah, you throwing the Chick-fil-A sauce on there now.
But that's how it starts. We're talking single versus not single. We're not talking about if a person, both sides got a child. We're talking about if you're single, if you're not with child, and you're going after you doing what you've been doing. You're working. You're taking care of your business. You got your options of dealing with the guy with the child and dealing with the guy with the child. Will you say most women would be okay with dealing with the guy with the child more than it would be with a guy without a child?
I'm not gonna speak. I want to hear Big A. Go ahead.
Well, this
Big A with child, so that's why he feeling himself.
This is my thing, though. This is my thing. Like, my whole point to it is to say, because the woman has a child, that her value is right away. It's just, oh, your value is lower. But then, like we say, when we go into that whole courting process, because you say as a man, you think about, well, what about this whole baby daddy aspect? I know y'all say, well, hopefully he ain't around, but I mean, if he is around, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna run across your mind. But the whole courting process is where you really get to find out. Like you say, you start off as friends, you courting, whatever the case is. Within that time, you're going to be able to see some things to where you'd be like, oh, I could deal with this or I can't deal with this. But like I said, where I have the problem is to say, oh, you're lesser value because you have a kid. That's where I had the issue. Because on the flip side, like you say, when you're ready to start a family, you ain't really been through them things of newborn, and I mean, all the stuff is being a parent, and this person has, and then that's where you be like, okay, you experienced in this and this and this and that, and you pick up those type of traits. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my whole issue is to say because a woman has a child, her value is lessened.
But you still speaking from a woman. We're talking about.
Well, we
got to be specific because, like you said, we got to be specific because you keep on saying a woman's value. We're talking not just a woman's value, but a man's value. We're talking about dating. Okay, we're not just talking about them. Like you're taking it as we're saying that they themselves as women are less valuable. We're saying in the dating market, based off of situations, it makes them. Take your feelings out of it. Like you gotta take your feelings out. Because yes, you do. Because you keep operating.
Because I'm speaking what I'm speaking.
But you're speaking from your feelings.
You're not your opinion. It ain't no feelings.
But you're speaking from your feelings. You're not speaking facts. You're speaking from your feelings of that. Oh, you shouldn't say that a woman is devalued because she has a child. Well, statistically, based off of the situations that we're all talking about, if we're talking like we're just being specific now. Based off of the situation, whether a woman with child and woman without child, yes, the value is a different value. It's maybe lower because it's a lot of different scenarios. Doesn't make the woman herself. Now we're not talking about specific, which is going just based off of face value. If you're going by face value, you don't think, oh well, I need to get to know. No, face value is, well, okay, she has a child, she doesn't have a child. Which direction will I initially go to? Not thinking about, or she may be this, she may be that, in this situation, not thinking about or feeling sorry for or doing this or that. We're just going to say, let's just deal with the factuals of it. Woman with child, woman without child. Initially, you're going to go down the path with the person that's not. And that's basically what we're saying about it when it comes to initially dating, not getting to know, not all that's surrounding it. We're just saying, just from the head start, and that's where we're trying to get through. Not to say that she's not a valuable person, because like I said, for me personally, and like what Kingz said, we know the value. We know that there's a lot more value, but we can't speak for us because we took the time to get to know that, oh, there's a lot of value with the woman that has a child as opposed to maybe the one without. I'm not saying that she's not either, but we know there's some there. But initially, but on a larger perspective, we have to account for everyone when we make this claim.
We do, but we shouldn't be judging a book by its cover until we actually get to know that person.
But that's what I said. Y'all still going too far ahead. Y'all going too far ahead.
The world doesn't think that way.
That way. Is that y'all going too far ahead? Y'all.
The world doesn't. The world doesn't. But I'm just saying that we should not be judging a book by its cover.
We shouldn't be judging a book by its cover. We should be all, hold hands and kumbaya. We should all love one another. But like Kingz said, that's not how the world works. Unfortunately, there's an ugly truth to this world. We got to realize that people don't go by the same moral compass.
Okay, so
we can stay all day and kumbaya and say we're supposed to love one another, but we know that's not how this world works. So take us out of the equation of how we feel, and we have to answer the question based off everything. Now, because you can't tell me that everybody's going to have the same feeling.
And let's be honest about it. Every man out here is not strong enough to deal with a situation if a problem arises. So they know themselves and they say, "Listen, man,
And
I
vice
can't deal with
versa.
that. Yeah, I can't deal with that funk, man. So I
And
can't.
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, we got to guess that jump in.
But so this is my thing. So this is
But
my
why?
thing.
But
So-
why are we just looking at it from a, you know? And
Because
I
we
get
have
that we're
to-
talking on a mass scale, but why are we looking at it from a bad standpoint? I'm not,
That's
you
what I
know,
was
this
just
man
about to
may
go
not
to.
be able to deal with this funk, or you know, she may have baby daddy drama, or why are we looking at it from a negative?
Because we're taking a look and we're taking our glasses off and we're paying attention to what's happening in our communities on a large scale. That is the point of this entire podcast. In our communities, this is the thought process. Not
But look, but
it's
check this out,
reality.
King.
It's
Check this out,
reality
King.
too.
So I mean, okay, let me so we keep saying like we go like Willie, you stress what the world says. So I guess we shouldn't take it from our point of view. If we gonna go with the way the world sees things, like what's the use even discussing this?
Because we can't.
Hold on.
We can't keep on. We're not talking from our point of view. That's what you keep. I can, like I said, everything that you guys are saying, I can agree with because I live that life
personally.
But I can't speak for me personally. We're trying to talk to everyone, not just you and I. We had these conversations all the time. You and I are not going to have the same conversation as somebody that's in this chat that we don't know. And there's a lot of people. If you look out around, if you go to the barbershops, if you go to the stores, they have different point of views, and that's what we're trying to get an understanding of from a different point of view.
Okay, so this is my thing. When it comes to Big A, I don't think like the world. So my thing is, if you want to look at things from a worldly view, like you said, if we looking for a worldly conversation, we might as well not even have an opinion on it because we're not thinking like the world anyway.
But we're talking to the world.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
That's what we're saying.
This
We're
whole
talking.
Podcast is to talk about, is to speak to this huge topic that goes on in our communities. That's what the whole podcast is about. Yeah, we have our opinions, but we just gave our scenarios earlier. It really wasn't even about an opinion. We gave a scenario of what could happen and how someone on this side could think. But we know in our communities, the thought process is totally opposite.
And that's why we're asking, the question, because we got so many different opinions. We got so many different ways of thinking that we want to be able to open up. That's what I'm saying. We're opening ourselves up to different ways of thinking. Not saying that we have to agree or you don't have to agree. What I'm saying, I'm not even speaking for myself when I'm bringing these questions out, but we have to open it up just so that we can hear it from a different point of view. Whether we agree or not, we still have to open that up. And that's what this critical thinking is. And with this question is, it's opening up critical thinking. It's making you think outside of what you would feel, how you feel.
So this is my thing also. When you like back to what you were saying, King, about our communities, right? Of what people are thinking. But when you really look at it though, I mean, you take our group, everybody else, take all of us that grew up together. Not all of us got the same mom and dad when it comes to our siblings. So somebody can't be thinking that though.
That's what we're saying now, Big A. We're saying that not everybody thinks like we think, and that's why we're asking the question, because we want to hear from how other people think.
Listen. Let's okay. Well, even when you look at our situation, we're talking today. You know what I'm saying? And today, even where we come from, dudes is not out here trying to date women that got kids all over the place. It just, I mean, let's just be honest about it. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what our community is filled with today, though. That's what it is.
And so listen. Now this is where it goes. This is where all the complaints come from. Why is our man going outside of our race? You see what I'm saying? Because they don't. First of all, you don't want to deal with all these issues when it comes to the baby daddy and everything, or the baby mama, or whatever it is. We start to look and venture outward. So, and this is not on the topic. I'm just saying this is what stems from this. So, when you look at the situation, yeah, we may feel a certain way. That's fine. We have our opinion. I think the scum of the earth are men that don't take care of their responsibility. I really do. But that's not what this is about.
Right.
This is about. It's the reason why that big old topic is out there. It's the reason why. It's because it's happening a lot. This is the thought process of a lot of young men, a lot of young women, especially in our community, when it comes to people who have children already.
Right. Well, King, let's give a little bit of time to our guests. We got Nomus J in the building, man. So, Nomus J, man, give us a little bit of input, man, what we're talking about right now.
Well, okay. First of all, how everybody doing?
What's going on, brother?
Doing good, brother.
Not much. Okay, so from what the initial question I heard, because I did have some phone calls before I got on here, it seemed like y'all were asking how if a man has a child, how should a woman be willing to date that man if he has a child?
Vice versa.
Vice versa.
That's what I put in the chat too, because it to me, I agree with Kay when she said it depends on the situation, because sometimes when you look at certain women, they might go out there and date a man who got several different kids from different women, and then you ask yourself, like, why are they together? But you don't know the situation. And I feel like the problem I see is that nobody really conducts themselves the way that they're supposed to conduct themselves as far as when they have kids, regardless of what sex it is, whether it's a male or a woman. And from my perspective, because I'm just gonna keep it real. I got family like that. I got friends this and that situation. They got multiple kids. I got, everybody knows somebody or got somebody in their family that's like in that situation. So to me, I feel like the real issue why there's so much drama, because we never really take our time with the first person we meet when we had that first kid. Everybody's so quick to jump in to a relationship to where we have people producing kids and nobody's stopping to think, like, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah, a lot of people out here doing the hokey pokey in the first 2 weeks.
There we go, Nomus J. And see, that's
and like, okay, and I hate to use this as an example because I really don't like talking about these group of people, but the famous celebrity group everybody loved talking about, Russell Wilson, Sierra with the Future scenario. Everybody loved talking about that one for different reasons. And when you think about it, everybody's like, yeah, Russell Wilson is this, Future is that, but nobody ever stops and points the finger at Sierra. And
I do.
It's like,
I do.
Future got 12 kids, and they ain't stopping him from knocking his door down.
There we go. See, this is what we're talking about. Both of those scenarios.
Yes.
Both of those scenarios is exactly why this conversation is happening.
Well, if we gonna get on that scenario with Sierra and Future, I'm pretty sure, she was young. She know this man had multiple kids out here.
Bingo.
Listen. When I say young, I'm not talking about age-wise. I'm pretty sure she wasn't thinking about, oh, he gonna do me this way. And no, I'm pretty sure she wasn't until she got into that situation.
But that's the problem.
Okay, hold on, Kay. Bullshit, Kay. Bullshit. I'm gonna say why that's BS. And this is something that reason why we need to have this conversation, because like King said, like Big A say, that man had 4 or 5 kids prior to Sierra. And we always talk about getting to know the person, getting to do all this type of stuff. Now, she was fine with all that stuff. She even participated with the children. So she knew what she was getting into. But she thought because she was Sierra that she was special more than them other baby mamas, and it didn't turn out that way.
But
and then when he turned out, and then when he turned out to be who he was, with like how he was with the other baby mamas,
he added
now we got the Russell Wilson, which I don't knock Russell Wilson because I see myself in Russell Wilson because he did what he supposed to do as a man with the woman that had a child. He stepped up.
But listen, but that this whole Future and Sierra thing debunks y'all whole thing earlier when y'all said, well, when a woman meet a man, the first thing she's saying, well, what happened between you and that other girl?
But we asked that question though, Big A. We asked the question: will women prefer, or women see themselves dealing with dudes with children than the ones that's without. We asked that.
When
We asked Kay that.
Let me
Kay didn't give us an answer.
Hold on, no, she was explaining herself, and y'all kept cutting her off like, nah.
Because you wasn't answering the question. She was trying to explain it instead of answering it. We want a yes or no. We don't want you to go in and try to muddy up the situation. We want the yes or no.
And even with this Sierra and Future situation, we don't know the entire situation. How do we know that they plan to have a child? How do we know that Future just ain't weak in the knees like I was talking about earlier?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
It's not.
We don't know.
So what Kay was saying, y'all want to call her saying bullshit, but then on the other end, like you say, King, we don't know what happened. So I agree with both of y'all, King.
But when we talk
Kay saying is BS.
I can't say what Kay is saying with BS because she got to listen. She was all running through videos with the dude. She participated with this dude and everything they did. She even went out with him with his children. So yes, she knew what she was getting into. We got to start. Listen, people got to be held accountable for their actions.
We do, but I'm not saying that she fully did not know, but we don't all the way know until you really
we
get
don't
into
have to
something.
fully all the way know, because initially you dealing with the woman, so you mean to tell me, and this is why we're having this conversation, that you willing to go in, and I'm feeling the reason why I feel like she did that because of who he is. You mean to tell me you going in with this man knowing that and this is what King said earlier, you going in with this man and he got 4 children, and your thought process is what I wonder, like what he did with those other baby mamas that's gonna be different for me, or what happened?
No. And Willie, no, this is how the women think in our community. They think, well.
So now Samuel.
It's going to be. Listen. I'm just trying to figure out. Like,
we talking about the women who jump in these situations. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about all women. I'm talking about those women in our community that do these things. Mm-hmm. They think to themselves and say, he got 4 kids. He got these baby mamas. Well, maybe my WAP is better than theirs. Maybe I can make him change.
She was him. More special than them others.
Yeah, I'm different. I'm the Matrix. I'm this.
Kim Kardashian. Huh? You thought he could change her?
I mean, he got with her based off of her video footage, so we already know. It's like I'm not.
Yeah, we ain't getting on that.
I'm not placing the blame. I'm not placing the blame strictly on Sierra. I don't want to come off like I'm blaming Sierra, but I'm not saying that she's not at fault. Me initially, as a man, I'm putting the fact that this man is out here popping out all these different babies and not being sustained enough, knowing that it takes more than just you popping out a child. From a person's perspective, I don't condone it. I don't like it. I don't like men who do it. But we also have to recognize the accountability when it came to that. To me, she shouldn't even got involved in the first place. But like I said, that's her personal thing.
Yeah,
she chose to go into that situation. That's what I said. I had to hold her accountable. Like she didn't know. No, she chose to go in there knowing that
she chose to go into that. She chose
goes
to
back
go
to
into
what I
that
said,
situation with him, and then
it's
chose
accountability
to get out of it.
Exactly,
but it's accountability for that choice.
She went in and she got out of it.
And she got
a baby out of it that another man is raising.
Y'all right, but Willie right too. You see, that's one of the biggest problems in our community.
She don't have another man raising him. Russell decided to step up and raise
the child should not even be a part of it. Period. This man gave you every reason, and he gave you every sign, and you still did it.
But you
damn fool.
So now you mad. So now you sound mad because you sitting up here saying what she did and this and that and brought a kid up in the world and this and that. But Russell decided to take on that. He
shouldn't have to in the first place is what we saying. It should not have.
He shouldn't have to. He decided to.
He shouldn't. But that's the thing about it. We got to understand that
we're not talking about Russell.
Listen. You're trying to make the normal out of the abnormal. That's not a normal situation.
I'm not making it normal, but
and like you said,
normal. But what I'm saying is that man decided he wanted to deal with that. He wanted to deal with her.
Exactly.
I'm not talking about Russ. I'm talking about Sierra.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the problem of how our women think.
She put herself into that. She wanted that. It's something
accountability. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we're talking about, Kay. Thank you, Kay. That's what we just said, Kay.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying she put herself into that. She wanted to see for herself. Maybe she did think. I don't know what the girl thought. Maybe she thought it was going to be
more power to Russ. But Sierra in the beginning should have known better. This man put it all on his tracks what type of dude he is. And she still did it.
Gucci flip-flops, guys. Gucci flip-flops, man.
Like, come on, bro.
The whole point is...
And that's just the thing. It's like with dudes, we get demonized when we say, okay, look at this situation. Nah, I ain't messing with that. You know what I'm saying? But women seem to be more accepting of these dudes that have multiple baby mamas, that just got out of jail, that just did all these things. They're more accepting. And then when they get pregnant by these dudes, oh, well, men ain't this, men ain't that. Oh,
and I need somebody that's gonna. I need a real man to step up and be in the situation.
When you look at it from that standpoint, I feel like this: if you know that this man got multiple kids out here, then something is wrong with you. I'm sorry. If you know his background. Now, if he come correct and he didn't change his ways and he trying to do something with himself, then give that man an opportunity. But to sit up here and to just
but how do you know he changed his ways?
Ooh, and CK, when you say stuff like that,
know each other better.
When you say stuff like that, K, is the reason why we got dudes out here with multiple baby mamas, because they giving this guy a chance to get himself together. And what we're saying is that's not normal. That's not how it's supposed to be. I'm not this guy, that guy, and I'm just, like I said, we all make the choice. Like I said, it's all choice. But if we're going to come correct with it, that guy, you shouldn't be giving that guy a chance until he has it together.
We started this thing on the first side of the hour about women. Now, here's my problem. I like I said on the 2 previous episodes we've dropped, I always look to the men for every situation.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying? So it starts with the men.
Yeah.
These men out here, you know what I'm saying, they not taking care of their business. They not raising their kids. You know what I'm saying? They just dropping kids off in these women and just walking out the door. You know what I'm saying? And it's creating this entire problem from the beginning. Because we shouldn't even be discussing the value of a woman with a child.
And why did I say that, King? Why did I say? Because the most value out of that woman is from that initial man that she had the child with. That's where your most value come in at. Your most value doesn't come from the next man. It came from the man when he handles his responsibility, when he steps up and be the man that he set out to be for that woman and let that woman put a seed in that woman and let that woman bear his child. He is the most valuable to her, and she is the most valuable to him. Now, I said that situation happened. How am I tripping?
Because this how I'm gonna tell you how you tripping. Because you're literally determining the value of a woman because of the first person she had a child with.
Because you're supposed to.
Hold on. We ain't talking about what you're supposed to.
Yes, we are talking about what you're supposed to. We're not breaking it. We're talking initially.
Remember, we're talking from the world point. You're literally sticking the value of the woman to the first person she had a child with.
Because it is.
Well,
because it is. And let me tell you, and let me break it down for you. Let me break it down for you, because I'm gonna have to look. No, I can't let you finish.
How do we go back there? Because I was speaking on the man.
No. Let me go. Wait.
How does her value? No, first of all, the value of that man is listen. A man that don't take care of his children is the same as a murderer.
Thank you, Mark.
He's the same as a murderer.
Okay. What did I say? Wait. No. Big A, wait, before you go, what did I say? I said if that man I'm taking it, I'm putting it on the man. That man who got that woman pregnant, he's supposed to see that woman as the most valuable asset because that woman is having his child.
Yeah.
But
He
we
gets
know
the
in our
most.
community,
Wait, and
it's not the case.
I know that, but
Right.
that's what we're talking initially. We got to start from the beginning. We can't make the normal out of the abnormal. We gotta start from where it begins. And the beginning, you're not supposed to be out there thinking that, like I always say, we're not guaranteed a second chance. So it's a lot of avenues, there's a lot of things that we have to go for before we decide to even lay that we supposed to. Let me say this: we supposed to do before we even lay down with each other. We talking about single parents. We're not even talking about marriage. These folks ain't even married most of the time. When that's supposed to be the initial thing before you even put a seed into a woman, it's supposed to be y'all two together. But we dealing with situations in our communities that's not abnormal, that's abnormal situations that we're making the best of the circumstances. But initially, when you go out there to have a child with a person, when a woman allows you, like we gotta say, a woman allows us to enter into them and plant our seed into these women, we have the most value with that woman initially. Because and I had to speak from a personal standpoint, because like I said, you could go out there and be the greatest stepdad in the world, and there's a lot of them. I'm a contact King can contest to it too. But there's still some value that dad, that even with him being a deadbeat, still has in this world over that man that came and stepped up. So it's a lot of different variables that I'm speaking of.
And that's why I wanted to switch the flow, because the first hour, we talked about the dating scene, woman with child, man with child, understandable. We tried to get as much as we could out of that. Now we're going to preview or segue into our future topic, which is next week, which is men not taking care of their responsibilities. The effect that is having on our community is absolutely toxic. It's toxic, man. It starts from there. If, for instance, if you plant some seeds in some soil and you walk away and you leave that plant is never going to grow. And that's what's happening to our children. These children are not growing the way that they should grow because this man is leaving his responsibility.
And that's where I was about to piggyback off of what you were saying, King, because right when you talked about the man not taking care of his responsibility, then that's when he go into, oh, the woman's greatest value is that first man that she had a child with. No, because I don't care what happens, whatever happens between that father and the mother is never an excuse for a man or mother, but we're talking about the men, to leave their responsibility of taking care of their child.
The men always get the avenue out. They get the little
that's what
under the rug.
Right away, when we stepped into that, then it goes into the woman's value is in the first man initially where she had the child. Hey, if you don't get out of here, you cannot hold that woman's value to that man walking out on his responsibility.
Like I said,
and that's what my whole issue is.
Yeah, it's the value of our entire community is being devalued simply because our men are just not taking care of that responsibility.
Facts.
Simple and plain. It's the root. It's the entire root of the entire tree of all the problems that we have. All those branches and leaves of these problems that we have. The root of that tree is our men. Our men in our communities not doing what they're supposed to, because we are the ones putting these children into these women in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So it starts there. We're the seed layers. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we all know that God creates us all, but we create that life when we put it into that woman's egg. You see what I'm saying? That life comes from you and go into that woman, and together y'all create that life. So when you take half of that away, obviously it's going to be some problems. You know what I'm saying? Because you like I said, it starts with the men, and that's my biggest problem, my biggest issue with all of these topics we're talking about. Men just don't like to take responsibility, especially in our community, and they don't like to hear about it either.
They give you 1,001 excuses of why they can't do it or why this is that way. Bruh, if you gonna put your seed in a woman, you need to take care of your business.
That's a fact.
It's simple and plain. You know, you get no type of slack, no, you get no leeway from me. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not because of my own personal situation. You look at the problems, you look to the root of it, it all goes back to us.
Look, King, listen, I don't even want to be around nobody that's not taking care of their kids. Look, I don't want you around me. I don't want that energy around me, because if you don't even care to take care of the life that you brought into this world, what are you around me for?
You a bitch ass nigga. Excuse my language. Excuse my language. I know some people. Hey, you a bitch. You are an absolute bitch. And if you a bitch to your kids, you're gonna be a bitch to me too as a friend.
And there you go. And then that's my part. All of our problems, it start at the top, and it start with, you know, whenever our community was strong, it was because the men was man's man. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no, I got a kid over here, I got a kid over there, I got a kid over there, but guess what? I got my own house. You ain't got not one of your kids staying with you? Like, are you serious?
That's a problem. That's a sickness.
It's a problem. It's a serious problem, because, like, for me, for instance, I know a lot of them here go and shit. Well, I ain't never grow up with my mom and dad in the same house. Oh, listen, I didn't either, and I knew what that felt like. So when I decided to have a kid, I made sure I was married, because I didn't want to put that burden on my kid.
The remedy is not to do to your kid the same thing that happened to you. You absolute idiot.
Breaking
like that is
generational curses.
Dumbest thing I ever heard somebody say.
Right, and to piggyback off of Big A, and this is why, you know, what you guys are saying, why this topic was important. Like you said, Big A, you waited till you got married before you decided to put that seed into that woman. Because of your circumstances and your situation, you say, listen, I'm not going to carry on this generational curses, this bad persona of a man not taking care of his responsibilities. And that's what I mean by value. That was Big A, you just specifically said what I was meaning about the value. Because you make sure, wait, hold on, let me finish. Because you put value into that woman, that you decided that if anything before, I'm going to marry her, and I know that this woman is valuable enough for me to marry, and I'm going to take, and when I put that seed in there, I'm going to be there and take care of that seed. And that's what I was saying, and that's what I was meaning about initially about the value, because the value is all initially. I'm just saying initially, not saying that the other person don't see you in value, but initially, the most value supposed to come from the person that you had. But we're having children, like I said, we're having children out of wedlock. We're having children out of hooking up, out of irresponsible men and women. It's a lot of accountability and responsibility that we're not seeing on both ends, that's causing this problem that really not supposed to be. We're not supposed to. If everything goes right, it's like you said, in the perfect world, which we know that it's not. If everything goes like it's supposed to be, the child's supposed to be with the man and the woman, the parents, the father, the mother that had them. But we know that it's not a perfect world. We don't have perfect people. We don't have perfect situations. So we know that. But to answer the question, the initial question, once we start breaking it down like we just did, we're telling you just from that point of view, it is not based off of personal feelings or what you personally went through. But if we're going to ask the question, we really got to break it down. And that's what this was, is to break that question down. And we talked about it for over an hour now. And that just tells you how many layers that it is when it comes to that situation with dating with children.
But and then check this out, two things, right? And that's why with Kay, when you was like, well, I just want a simple yes or no. And that's why her answer was the way, because it's not really just a simple yes or no. And then the other thing is and this is the thing you got to remember too, Big Willie, it started with me, as the head of saying, hey, this was me, as my decision to say, listen, I'm not just gonna go out here and have no kids. The person I have, I mean, Kay, Willie, King, y'all know it was a point in time in my life where I was like, I ain't gonna have no kids. You know why I was saying I'm gonna have no kids? Because y'all know I didn't see myself being with somebody forever until my wife came. And then that's when it came to say, okay, this is where I'm gonna have a kid. Because I mean, let's be real. It was opportunities. I could have had kids, but it was just like, no, because I didn't want to go through what I went through as a kid. You know what I'm saying? My dad not being in the household, me not being with this woman that I'm having a kid with. You know what I'm saying? And so it started with me saying, this is what's gonna happen. I ain't having no kids until I see myself being with somebody.
And that's where we brought the perspective is, and that's what the question arises. That's what I'm saying. It's critical thinking. What we're doing, we're bringing scenarios to life, and we're applying it to that question, and that's why that question has so many legs. Like you said, it's not a simple yes or no, because like I said, we taking it and we're breaking it down, the behind the scenes of it. But first, let's start with the initial reaction. That's what we're starting. We're starting with the initial reaction of the question, and then after we get the initial reaction of the question, we can start breaking it down and peeling back the layers and making different scenarios. But if we're going to, excuse me, guys, if we're going to go by reality, if we're going to go by what's going on in this world, and when we ask that question, that's the first initial reaction. When you ask the question, is it devalue? And I say yes, that's when we start peeling back the layers. And these are the reasons why I said that, because it may not be right to you, may not be right to others, maybe so for others. But it's an ugly truth of the reality that we're living in today. And that's why I say yes. It's not that I'm saying it because I feel that it's right, because I had to take my feelings out of that question. I just recognize that it's an ugly truth to this world, to our community, to our society that's faced daily.
So let me say this. The reason why it took me a minute to even answer about a woman dating a man if he has kids or being single is because what if that man that has the child has more to offer? And I'm not talking about financially. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about what if he truly has more to offer, but he just has a child that's in the equation as well, versus a single man. You know, yeah, he don't have any kids, but he might have other baggage. He might be off mentally. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's why it took me a minute to really provide my answer, because this man with a child may be able to love me unconditionally. Right. He may be able to stimulate my mind, as a lot of these women are, you know, out here looking for. But it's all about what that man can offer me.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the other side of it.
Yeah.
That's the other side.
Understand. That's the other side. When we started the conversation, it was about starting dating a person in the first place.
Initially, the initial reaction.
You know, you for instance, am I even going to date this dude in the first place? You know what I'm saying? He has a child. So should I even take my time to find out anything about him? And for a lot of these dudes and these women out there, the answer is automatically no. Because they already they look around and they hear all of these bad stories about this happened with this baby.
It's not that they don't give a damn.
Yeah,
it's not that they don't give a damn. It's just that people have their, just like you said, Big A. You had your role to how you were going to do things. You wasn't going to do it to where you was just going to pop a baby out without getting to know the woman and making her your wife first. And that's what we're meaning when we're opening up this conversation, because we got people. All right, not saying that the person that they're going after, like you were saying, Kay, yeah, that person may be able to offer a lot more. And me personally, I know that for certain, because like I said, I went through it, King went through it. But the initial, that's what we're going for. Like, it takes a lot for a person to be able to think like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and see this through. And for me, because I grew up in it, King said he grew up in it, we're able to see beyond that. But we can't speak for the world. We can't speak for the community, because a lot of guys, like I said, I done sit in barbershops, I done sat at games, I done heard the conversations. They not even thinking. Like, no. As soon as they said, it's a woman, she got chopped. Nope, I don't even care. Nope. Not. What that woman could be this. That woman could be the greatest
in
woman in the
their-
world.
in
For
their
they'd be
mind,
like,
and that's
nope,
why I
not-
said
nope.
in a person that's closed-minded, you know what I'm saying, or I'm not even gonna say weak-minded, I'm just say closed-minded. In their
Yeah, I like
mind, they automatically are thinking problems.
Mm.
That's the first word that pop up into their mind. Problems.
Judging a book by its cover before
And
And I was
but-
just about to go
chance
back to
to
what
read
you
it.
said, Kay.
but
I was
see,
just about to say that.
But see, that's the ugly truth that we deal with, because people do that. People, I keep on saying, everybody has a different moral compass on how they react or how they approach a situation. So we got to step outside of ourselves and how we feel about it and open it up to look at it from different points of view. We don't have to agree with it, because in our cases we don't, but we still cannot shut it down and not listen to it and open it up to how other people feel or thinking about it and how they move.
I mean, I can see it from both sides, but like King was saying, the closed-mindedness. Like, okay, y'all grew up, y'all came from that, so y'all was able to see and able to understand why your parents did that. But at the same time, for those who did not come from that,
Right.
it's people out here that is doing that, taking care of somebody else's child, and they got their parents got their kids amongst themselves, and I see that a lot. But it's like, okay, when do we open up our minds to allow you could be missing out on the best situation?
But even if you see that a lot, why are you seeing that a lot? And when you look at the root of why you're seeing that a lot, it's simply because a lot of these men out here ain't taking care of their responsibilities, and they leaving these women with the children. So that's when you have that going on a lot in your community, that's what you're going to see. And like, it's a process to these podcasts, because it's first you got to pose that. You have to pose the question. You got to pose the question, and then you break it down, and then at the end you have to do your best to answer that question.
Correct.
I
And
really
before you go, Nova J, I'm gonna let you go, because I just say this one last thing on my end.
Mhm.
We're facing this question is because initially we've had those issues with the fathers not taking responsibility, mothers not being accountable, and vice versa. So we have to ask this question, because that's our reality right now. That's a lot. We hear about how there's so many bad men out here, but there's a whole hell of a lot of stepdads in this world.
That don't get
For there to be some these guys is not taking the responsibility and being bad and being not good for the community. We got a whole lot of stepdads out here. So those stepdads are facing these scenarios that we're talking about. So that's where we want to open this question up and say, because we got some that's willing to face that, and we got some that's willing not to face that. Not to say that we can't say that they're wrong for not wanting to do that, because at the end of the day, like you said, Big A, it's a choice.
And that's what I was about to get to.
And when we go on and we're talking and when we answer the question on a mass scale, whether you're making a choice to do it and you're making a choice to do it not, I would say more is making a choice not to than they are willing to do that. And that's where the value, when you're making less of something, that's where value is less. Like, we're talking not like on a personal scale, but if we're economic wise, values is less if you're choosing the other. And that's what I mean by on that scale, not on a personal scale, but just on the numbers.
That's why we were saying you got to take emotion out of it, because we knew these terms would trigger people when they hear less value, because automatically the human mind is going to say, oh, we're talking about that person. You know what I'm saying? It's her as a woman. We saying she has less value. We're specifically talking about the dating scene, the beginning of the dating scene.
But this, I get what y'all saying, but y'all can't say that a person has emotion just because it's on a different. They're on the opposite end of what you agree with. Like, for me,
the reason why we say emotion is because, like I said, that a lot of people, they don't catch the terminology. You know what I'm saying, that we're using. They're not catching the terminology. We are specifically talking about dating in the beginning. But when you say those terms, automatically a person is thinking, oh, well, how do you say a person is less value? She this, that, and the third. That's not what we're talking about.
Right. And she could be
We're talking about a man starts two women in a room, one with a woman, one without a one with a child, one without a child. That woman without a child is 9 times out of 10 who that man is going to walk towards. And this is the dating scene. We're not talking about after they courted. We're not talking about in the beginning of a relationship. This is the dating scene out here. A lot of men don't even want nothing to do with that woman over there that has another child.
And it's not that woman is not an amazing woman. Let's not go. We didn't want to go. We wanted to go into that portion of it. We wanted to get the initial response first. The initial response first. It's like you can't say that we can't say something when it's reality that this is happening. You can't. We gotta say it because it's happening. This is a reality for a lot of people. So we can't say it because we operate differently. Doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be said and discussed. If we can't say it, then we don't need to talk about it.
How about this? It wouldn't be women out here, single moms, and these dads to take care of their business.
But we didn't say that either.
Yeah, of course.
No, I'm going back to what we was talking to because we got off of that. That's what I'm going back to.
Yeah, but
that's next topic for next week.
Yeah,
this week it was literally about dating, and it was about how men think in the beginning. In the very beginning.
In the beginning.
You know hey, listen.
Let's go to Genesis, King.
Listen, I just got her
Genesis,
number.
King.
Right. right.
In the beginning. That's what we're talking about. In the beginning.
Right. Woman, man, got phone number. Let's go out on a date. Oh, well, I got to get a babysitter. Oh, well, hell no. You got a kid. I'm out of here. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that happens. And that's what we're basing it on now. The other side of it, like we're going to discuss that next week. Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of ins and outs too. Why they are single, we know that. We're going to discuss it further, but we're just basing it off of that initial response, and we just open it up to everyone to give their true opinion about it. Now, let's look at I gotta see. Now, we're not saying that you gotta see. We ain't even get to that point yet. We're gonna start from the face value portion of it. We know that you ain't supposed to read a book by its cover. We know that you need to get to know. We know all the spells. We get that. But in reality, we know that a lot of people don't operate like that. A lot of people don't have that good conscience to say, well, let me get to know this person. Because a lot of times, and I'm speaking from the men point of view, a lot of men don't have a conscience of thinking that they're courting a woman to be their woman or their wife. They're courting a woman just to get in them draws. So, and in some cases, guys be like, oh, she got a kid, I might be able to hit that. But they be like, you know what? I'm not even gonna go down that road. It's so many different variables that I'm saying that we know that there's guys out here that don't think like a good guy should think.
We need to put a stop clock timer over there, like in the middle, give everybody like 30, 45 seconds, Good God, man.
I feel ashamed.
If I'm out here and I see a woman, but she got a kid, and everybody's going to be like, no, you can go get that. First thing come to my mind is no, because for a fact, I know me having a father, me, coming from a 2-parent household, I wasn't raised to even act like that. And I'm not going to be the type of guy that's going to do that. And that's just what it falls down to. It comes to the man to make that decision. If you go choose to be greedy and do the wrong thing, or if you go choose to say, F what everybody else say, I'm going to do it the right way. And it's our decision. If you ain't got the strength as a man to make that decision, then you pretty much a child.
No.
Well, my thing is this, and this was my whole thing, right? Like, your choice is your choice. But just because the choice you make, it doesn't devalue the other person. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you decide to mess with a person,
Jesus Christ.
Listen.
No, I didn't say it devalued.
No, I'm not talking about what you're saying, numbers. I'm talking about the whole basis of this thing. Whether you go into when you first see this person or whatever the case is, whatever your choice is, just because you choose to or you choose not to.
Some dudes dudes don't even get to a choice. They don't even get to that point. They literally say, you got a child. I don't even care. I don't even want to hear it.
I get
Jesus
to what you're
Christ.
saying, King. I get exactly what you're saying. Listen, I'm hearing you. The choice that they made right away is to say, "No, I ain't dealing with that woman because she got a child."
And that's
Right
what
away,
dudes
right?
are doing.
And ain't nothing wrong with that. But to put the label, what I'm saying, to put the label on
not
that
labeling.
person.
We're not labeling the.
No,
Labeling.
I'm not
That's-
saying y'all. Dude, we know where the basic of this subject came from. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying Big Willie, King. I'm not saying y'all putting the label. We know where the basis of this subject came from. I'm saying to say a person, and I'm not just saying a woman, I'm saying a man also, as a lesser value, or face value, because this person got a kid.
But it's not even about words at this point. It's not even about words. It's literally about when we're talking about the value of a woman, we're not basically saying that this woman is lesser value. We're not labeling that woman as that. We are talking statistically. And if you were talking statistically, we're talking economically, if you want to look at it that way. It is literally telling you that the value of that product, we can look at it from a product standpoint. The product of that, the value of that product is lower. That's just what we're saying. It is not to put a knock on any woman or man out there with a child. It is literally what people are thinking when they even go into a dating situation. I would rather get a product that has higher value and not as many red flags, dits and dings and things like that. I would rather go after a woman that doesn't have that. I would rather go after something where I can start with a clean slate. I don't have to worry about the other personality in the relationship. I don't have to worry about if the kid accepts me or not. I don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna date this chick that don't have a child. That's gonna kill the whole thing right there. And that's how these dudes is thinking out here. So we're not talking about the value of that woman. We're not personally saying, hey, this woman is less valuable. But this is how these men think out here, and this is how these women think out here when they find out someone is with child.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the cold cut truth about it.
And it's an ugly truth. And
Yeah,
that's why
ugly.
It's not ugly. It's people's decision on what you can't say what a person's decision is because they decide to not date somebody that has a child or they decide to date. I mean, it's not an ugly.
Well, the part that we saying that's ugly about it is the instant judgment, that comes with the situation. It's instant judgment right away. You're so closed-minded, you just instantly judge. You have a right. Yeah, you do have a right to make your own decision. You're right. And what you want to deal with. But the perception that's put out here automatically on people that have children is foul.
It's a negative perspective. That's the problem.
It's very foul.
And see the thing is it's not even just from a negative point of view. It's just like you said, King, it's economics.
Yeah.
People are and it's not just economics. Everybody knows that we're going to go choose in most cases the thing that has less resistance. And that's what we're saying, not just from not getting it from a personal. You can't say that. No, people do it. We can't. People say it.
Hey, listen. You gonna buy a pair of J's you gonna buy the pair of J's that don't got taxes or the ones that come with taxes?
You're gonna go with the one with the least resistance initially. Now the other pair, like y'all saying, it may be fire on your feet and it may feel more comfortable once you get your feet in there, but we're not talking about once you get to that other side. It's the front of it that people think about, like whether or not they want to make that decision. And of course, it's a decision that's gonna have to be made. But once we calculate all that in about those people who's making those decisions, what's going to be on top? The person without the child or the person with the child? And the person we if you say even the value, we even say the single person is more valuable. If that makes you feel more comfortable, if the saying of it is saying the value, let's say the person who is single gives you an opportunity to be more inclusive than a person with child. And it's a true statement because it's things that a person that's single can do that a person with child can't in the dating world. Not other than that, we're just saying in the initial.
It all depends on the age of the child too, though. But it all depends on the age of the child.
That's part of the scenario. That's part of the
No,
scenario. Just added on to the scenario.
He gonna fix it to where the child is 6 months and you ain't got no baby.
That's
no
personal.
family around, and that's his scenario.
That's personal. I ain't even
So
getting to y'all getting into the other side of it. We just saying initial. I ain't saying the child could be fine.
Out the gate, dudes. Women don't want to date you in the first place.
Stop going into these scenarios where this woman got a genius child, like she got a child out there that you know what I'm saying.
I mean, the 6 months or 15. Tell you the teenager child is the one that's a bigger problem.
Let's not even go into
that.
He
said y'all going to babysitting though. That's what I was just making a joke.
Let me ask you a question.
You know,
regardless of the age of the child, what if there's like if it's man or woman, what if that person has multiple children?
That's another factor. That's just another factor.
Yeah,
and that's when
it really get bad. That's when it's like, oh, it's a super red flag.
We can go into. We just went into that with Sierra and Future, low key.
Yeah, we touched on it, but let's be honest though.
But we can't go into depth into it because, like you said, we don't know the fullness of it. But if we gonna factor that in, like I said, all these are factors. When you see that person with a child, you're gonna have all them thoughts run through your head initially. That's when you got a child. Is a child's mother, child's father in their life. If they're not in their life, if they're in their life, is their butthole? Do I got to deal with them? It's all these different scenarios that you got to come with that, as opposed to someone who doesn't. And that's a reality of it. It's an initial reaction. That's what we're talking about. It's just the initial reaction of it. Guys got quiet for a minute.
I'm just letting
it. Stop eating, Kay. Stop eating.
I'm just letting it, sit in.
Right. So this is, like I said, this is a great discussion. Great topic because, like I said, you get it from different perspectives. To think about. It is a lot to think about, and the thing with this podcast that we want to focus on more is that accountability and responsibility in all of this. We're just bringing up a scenario, but ultimately, like you said, I believe like King believes, and I believe Big A believes the same thing. And you made two notes that initially everything or responsibility first comes to man. And I'm gonna rock with that too, because we could talk about it till our heads fall off, but I'm gonna rock with it and say that responsibility is gonna start with us because God put us in charge.
I can't wait for this show.
Yeah, God puts us in charge. So we can
sit around and me next show. Y'all really gonna hate me next show.
So
I can't wait for next week.
Why we gonna hate you? Why we gonna hate you next show?
Right.
I ain't talking about y'all, man. Y'all keep think I'm talking to y'all. I'm talking about just the way these dudes, worldly dudes, as y'all say, because I don't think like that. They gonna hate me.
Well, hopefully someone will come on, man, give you a piece of their mind. So we inviting. We inviting. This is an open invitation.
This is the show. They ain't gonna want to come on.
Listen, it's an open invitation to my gangster nation.
If you ain't taking care of your kids, you shouldn't be on no dang on no YouTube podcast.
Well, we gonna see. Hopefully, we got some people that's gonna come in and give us a different perspective. So, with that being said, let's get some final thoughts, man. We're gonna start with our guest first. Nomis J, man, give us your little final thought on the topic.
Well, topic period. Like I said, every person, period, man or woman, needs to hold themselves accountable and take responsibility. Sometimes it seems like those are the two hardest things to do for people is to hold themselves accountable because it's too easy just to sit in your usual spot in your situation, right? And when you start grasping more accountability, you'll feel much better. And we all need to take a chill pill. That's pretty much what us as men need to do. Be responsible, be perceptive about everything we do. And for women, learn to take ownership of what you do wrong. I feel like when both sides do that, we'll be better off Great show though, y'all. And that's all pretty much I gotta say. God bless everybody in the chat.
Thank you for coming on, man. Give us that prescription to the chill pill, man. We appreciate you, Mr. Man. Kay, what you got, lady?
My only final thoughts is, if you want to go into a situation like that, just be open-minded. Don't judge a book by its cover. Start with trying to get to know that person first, like really taking your time, and then if it doesn't work out, then hey, it doesn't work out. But just go into the situation with having an open mind at first. That's all I got.
Big A, what you got, my brother?
Well, I mean, I kind of had the same sentiments as Kay does. You know what I'm saying? Like, judging somebody off just off a initial first glance, you could be missing out on your everything, your forever. You know what I'm saying? So, just like I said, you get to know each other, and whatever you decide to do, like I say, it's your decision. You got every right to do that, but it doesn't lessen the value of that other person just because you don't decide to do it. That's my thing.
King, what you got, brother?
What was that, Alfred? Oh, okay. Yeah. My butler. Yeah, y'all see my house behind me. No, but on a serious note, listen, man, I am, like I said, I was all in for this topic because it segued into the next thing that I really been wanting to talk to over the last 3 episodes. And, the biggest problem in our communities. And that is the man of the household, the husband, the baby daddy, the boyfriend, whatever you want to call it. It starts there. It starts there, man. The responsibility starts there. We have to take responsibility for what's going on in our communities, simply because we are not doing enough of what we need to on a large scale. And, like I said, I can't wait to get into that topic. Make sure you guys tune in. Make sure you guys smash the like button and share this like crazy. Share it everywhere. Facebook, everywhere. Share this everywhere because we want this conversation to get out there. Make sure you also subscribe to the podcast channel because this is the last topic on this channel that we're going to do. We're going to be transferring to our new We Three Kings podcast channel. This channel will be used for sports and sports only. So
and that's on YouTube. That's on YouTube, guys.
Right,
and also Twitter. We got the Twitter account for that
and
podcast
Instagram,
too.
We have it all for you guys.
We have it all, so we're going to make sure that we keep you guys posted on the new channel. So with my final thoughts on it, the conversation, like you said, that it had to happen. Because we're facing a lot of situations where we have broken homes and we having broken women, broken men, broken children. But if we don't initiate the conversation, if we don't initiate these thoughts, if we don't initiate the fact that we got to start holding each other accountable and responsible, we wouldn't even have to have this topic. Because if we do it how we supposed to do and operate how we were supposed to, but we know that people are not raised the same. People don't act the same. People don't think the same. But in order for us to be able to talk about it, we got to open it up. We can't just shut it down just because we don't like how it sounds. Let's think on it. Let's talk on it, but let's not shut it down. And then hopefully we get enough dialogue when we talk about it that it opens up not only for the audience, but for us as well. And that's what this is for. It's just to open up thought for the people and for y'all to enjoy us Kings and Kay when she gets on here about these topics. So we appreciate you guys for coming out with us. Thank y'all for listening, tuning in. Like I said, like, subscribe, and share this. And we're going to be rocking with y'all next week. So like I say, enjoy your family, enjoy yourselves. We Three Kings out.